Good morning. Welcome back to Venture Daily. On today's show, Elon Musk announces he is starting a new political party here in America. Mark Zuckerberg's hiring streak continues by adding one of Apple's top AI talents. And we recap what happened in Central Texas in regards to flooding and if cloud seeding had anything to do with it. I'm Jackson Fordyce. It's Tuesday, July 8th. Let's get you smarter before your first meeting. All right, our first story today, Elon Musk just took his feud with Donald Trump to the next level by launching a new political party. On the 4th of July, Elon Musk posted this on X. Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from the two-party, some would say uniparty system. Should we create the America Party? 65% of people said yes, 34.6% of people said no. So with that information, Elon tweeted this: by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party and you shall have it. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. But so far, no paperwork has been filed with the FEC to make the America Party official. And the name closely resembles America PAC, which is a super PAC that Musk backed that spent nearly $300 million helping Trump and Republicans win the election in 2024. And here, I'm going to show some posts that Elon has reposted on X, and this is two roads that diverge, and you can either choose the America Party with sunshine and happiness and castles and life, or you can choose the path of darkness going down with Republicans and Democrats. You have to choose one. There's only one road that you can take. And I want you for America, from Uncle Elon. And this is another picture that Elon shared on X. And then he reposted this video that I'm about to show y'all from an interview with Walter Isaacson from 2023. And he's the guy that most recently wrote the book Elon Musk, about Elon. And so here's what Walter had to say about what Elon's up to and his focus for like the future of humanity.
He has a deep care about humanity, about getting us to the transition to a sustainable energy, about human civilization. And so he is motivated not by making money, not by being powerful and, kicking around people, but by these missions that came when he was a little kid sitting in the corner reading the superhero comics of, I've got to help humanity be spacefaring. I've got to help it get over this sustainable energy issue. I've got to help it fight off artificial intelligence that might be evil. So there is a goodness to his missions, and they're epic missions.
I have a duty to help the American people relieve themselves from the political system, leaving the left, leaving the right, and joining the America Party. That's what Walter Isaacson is saying, that Elon wants to. There's a good in his heart for this mission. And so in response to Elon posting about the America Party, this is what Donald Trump had to say on Truth Social. I highlighted part of it, so I'm going to read just a little bit of it. I'm saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck, all caps, over the past 5 weeks. He even wants to start a third political party despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. The system seems not designed for it. The one thing third parties are good for is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos. And we have enough of that with the radical left Democrats who have lost their confidence in their minds. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth-running machine that just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of our country. And then he kind of goes on talking about the great big bill, the big beautiful bill. Sorry. And Elon, in response to that, screenshotted, this is a very small screenshot of Trump's Truth Social post, and then Elon posted this image at the bottom. I ain't reading all that. Happy for you, though. Or sad for whatever happened. So, all right, the bottom line is that two of the richest and most powerful men in the country continue their fight. Elon may be starting a new political party. We'll see if he actually files anything that makes it legitimate. But until then, we'll let you know at Venture Daily. All right, going into our next story, we're back. We're going back to the well of Mark Zuckerberg poaching talent. And from this image alone, it looks like it might be involving Apple. All right, Mark Zuckerberg just pulled off another major talent heist, this time from Apple. Ruming Pang, who led Apple's foundation model team, is the latest high-profile hire to join Meta's super intelligence team and the first big hire from Apple in Meta's ongoing AI recruiting blitz. Sources say that Pang's getting a multi-million-dollar pay package, reportedly in the tens of millions of dollars. This hire is massive for Meta, a devastating blow to Apple, who's already struggling to ship core features within their AI. Apple promised an AI-driven Siri update, which has been delayed longer. WWDC this year, really disappointed. I mean, like we've reported on here at Adventure Daily, Apple really hasn't been doing any developments here in AI, and now Meta, adding on to the 11 other companies they've been poaching from, like OpenAI, like Google, like DeepMind, like Anthropic, Meta continues to ramp up the hiring. And I'm sure that this is not the last news we'll see of Mark Zuckerberg bringing on new talent to the Meta team from other top, technology companies. And so we'll keep you updated here at Venture Daily with anything new that comes up from Mark's hiring blitz, as they're calling it, recruiting AI blitz. But I guess we'll see if Apple responds in any sort of way or tries to ramp up any sort of new AI innovations here in the near future. All right, final story today on Venture Daily, where we're going to be talking about the floods that happened in Central Texas. And before we get into the story itself and how actually cloud seeding might be at the center of this story, we're based here in Central Texas. We're in Austin. I have a bunch of family out in Blanco, Texas, friends in Llano, Texas, friends in Kerrville, Texas, family in Kerrville, Texas, and our here at Venture Daily, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families affected over there. So it means a lot to us. We live here. We're in the hill country, and so it's tough seeing all those affected. But at the center of this conversation around the floods is Rainmaker, who is a company in El Segundo, California, that's a cloud seeding company. And there's been a question posed on X these last several days of, did Rainmaker have anything to do with the floods that happened in Central Texas over July 3rd and July 4th? And it started from a guy named Brian Gamble tagging Augustus Dorico, the founder and CEO of Rainmaker, and tagging Rainmaker Corporation on X, saying, for public accountability, can you confirm with full transparency whether any cloud seeding or atmospheric modification operations by your company or affiliates were conducted in or around Hunt, Texas, or the Upper Guadalupe River Basin on July 3rd or July 4th of 2025? Okay, so General Mike Flynn also responds and says, I'd love to see the response. He is I think he's the former national security advisor to President Trump. Augustus responds, the natural disaster in the Texan Hill Country is a tragedy. My prayers are with Texas. A Rainmaker did not operate in the affected area on the 3rd or 4th or contribute to the floods that occurred over the region. Rainmaker will always be transparent. He says in a longer response, did Rainmaker conduct any operations that could have impacted the floods? No. So basically, the last seeding mission prior to the July 4th event was during the early afternoon of July 2nd, when a brief cloud seeding mission was flown over the eastern portions of south central Texas. And he says, and 2 clouds were seeded. But then Bloomberg picked up on the story with this article here. Misinformation on cloud seeding swirls after deadly Texas floods. While all meteorological evidence shows the technology didn't cause the extreme rainfall, conspiracy theorists have spread the debunked idea. But here in Texas, our Senator Ted Cruz actually fights back against that idea by saying this in this video here that was also posted to X.
A lot of speculations being made about this being somehow man involved with the weather modification, with some of the Rainmaker technology, working with farmland. Do you think any of that, is there going to be any investigations into that, or can you communicate anything on that?
Yeah,
and not to get into the weeds on, people are asking lots of questions, and where should we start the investigation after?
To the best of my knowledge, there is zero evidence of anything related to anything like weather modification.
So like Senator Cruz said, zero evidence for any sort of weather modification that caused the flash floods here in the Central Texas area. I'm not going to get into all the posts because there's 2 sides of this where someone's actually curious, wondering, hey, there's a lot of flooding happening in Central Texas. Y'all were just cloud seeding a couple of days prior to that, a day prior to that. Is there any way that this could have affected the floods? There's one side of that, and the other side are people harassing Augustus, accusing them of causing the floods that killed over 100 people so far in Central Texas. And Augustus responds to all of those posts that I've seen, at least, with answers to their questions or kind of combating some of the misinformation that they're spreading. Even last night, it's gone so far, this news, that even my dad was texting me about it last night. This is an image, I think. Let me get this up. He texted me, special report, cloud seeding should have never messed with Texas. Said, is this your buddy? I said, yes, and they didn't cause it. From InfoWars. And I think it's important to remember, I want to show you this video before we close out of Augustus about cloud seeding, about weather modification specifically. Like, we are okay with weather modification. Why is cloud seeding any different? So I'll show you this clip. This is from an old interview that we did with Augustus back in, I think about a year ago almost. And so this is what he had to say about weather modification and how we're already basically doing that.
Like, well, that's God's domain. You know, we as humans shouldn't be touching the weather. We're already changing creation all the time. Like, you're fine with irrigation. You're fine with reservoirs. Like, we have dams that are productive. We have desalination plants to take water from the ocean and pump that inland. And that's all good, and we're totally bought into that. Well, there's water, there's rivers in the sky that we should tap into just the same. And sure, fine, the sky is, like, heavenly. I get how that maps to people in a certain way. Then secondly, like, we're modifying the weather unintentionally all the time too. We have emissions from all of our refineries, from all of our cars. We kick up dust at industrial facilities, and that changes cloud formation. Like, downwind of coal power plants, you consistently see, because of all the steam and the coal ash they're emitting, precipitation downwind of those. So what we should be thinking about is like, okay, we're bumbling our way through this right now. We're modifying the weather unintentionally, perhaps adversely. Like, we should do that deliberately to maximize human and ecological flourishing.
All right, that is it today for our episode of Venture Daily. Thank you for spending your time with me this morning. I hope I helped you get a little bit smarter today. And thank you to Content Stack for allowing us to film here every single day in Austin, Texas at the Content Stack Experience Center. If you like today's show, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or X, leave us a like, a comment, and review. Throw us a 5-star rating if you think we earned it. And as always, I'll see you here tomorrow morning at Venture Daily.